So here's the next part of our discussion. It's more.
I'm trying to show.
Oh
Show my
no!
video.
And Rachel, I would
Oh,
love,
here we go.
while she's coming,
Hey, hi
Hey.
everyone.
And I'm doing you want me to do yours, right? Is that what you're working on?
No, don't worry about it. Zen, what did you want to say, Rachel?
what I wanted to express to Rachel that I would love to have an apocalyptic chat with you for a series is actually called One World in a New World.
Yeah.
Now
then, let me summarize what's happened so far for Marissa, and then she can tell you her story, which is as profound. So basically, we had there were three of us earlier on, and both of us were Rachel and I adopted both of our different skin color to our parents, and so the adoption was very obvious. There was someone on who only found out they were adopted when they were 42. My birth mother adopted a child and didn't tell him until he was 26, and all the fallout from that. We've had people living in cars, people locked out of their family homes, and then Rachel and I feel a distinct otherness, and Zen didn't frame it that way, but I took inference from what he was describing that there is a searching for. So introduce yourself and tell us your story, and then anyone that can hang on, we'll dive off after that.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Marisa Jones. And what is my adoption story? Well, when I was 40 years old, I had several pregnancy losses. I had one child, biological son. And after much going through years and years of infertility, and then some significant pregnancy losses. And at 40, I adopted a boy. He was an infant. At the time, he was 3 days old, and it's you know, I always knew I was going to adopt. I always thought I was going to adopt an older child, but when I was going through infertility, I was so I got so caught up in having to have a biological child, I forgot about it, and then it was like I was reminded again that I really wanted to adopt a child. And so I, started the process. It took 5 months to get approved.
Quick question. You
Yes.
always wanted to adopt an older child.
I did. You know what? I grew up in an abusive household, and I was a lost kid. I was a latchkey kid. I didn't have, my father was an abusive alcoholic. And I wanted a family. I wanted a really strong family to be a part of. And so I always thought that, if I could help when I'm older, if I can help somebody like me who, wanted a family, didn't have a family, that I can, provide for them and care for them and basically give them family that I never felt that I had. So that was always in the back of my mind, that I would someday adopt some older children who needed a home, right? And then when the time came to adopt, I couldn't convince my husband at the time to adopt an older child. He wanted to adopt someone who was younger than our firstborn, and so it was that's why I went the infant route, to adopt an infant. So there's a lot of story behind the adoption process. It took 5 months. It's really interesting because anyone can have a baby, but it's really hard to adopt. I mean, they go through fingerprinting and all of this. And what's really interesting, and you talk about being adopted by a family from a different culture or race, they asked us all these questions, like if the baby has a background where they have medical issues or heart attacks, or if they have a different race, right? If they're Black or if they're Asian. And so you literally have to check all these boxes. And it was so hard to do because for me, I didn't care. But I knew my husband's family and my family were very racist. They were immigrants, first generation American, Sicilian immigrants. They had their views on race. And I was like, how
Come back for the next part of this discussion.